Both of these lights come from different Convoy lines, but I think they are comparable in a few ways, especially if you're kind of on the fence to whether you want to carry around a larger one or whether you can get by with a smaller Convoy light in your pocket but still has some decent performance. So let's talk a bit about the size. I mean, if you look at them side by side, it's quite obvious the S21B is a lot smaller, both in the diameter of the bezel and the overall length of the flashlight. Even the actual tube is smaller as well in diameter. You've got a bit of this stainless steel bezel, whereas the M21B has this sort of screw-in bezel, but it does have some cutouts on the head as well. So I do find that the S21B, in my opinion, I just think it looks nicer. It has more of a modernized look to it, especially with this stainless steel bezel. It gives it a more premium appearance. The S21B is going to be easier to fit in your pocket than the M21B, but the thing with the M21B is that you can easily attach one of these clips to the end bit, whereas the S21B, it's not really a proper place to put the clip unless you get one of those S2 Plus clips and somehow fit it on there. It might sort of be a bit too stretchy for it, though. This is a clip that I got off another flashlight, but it does fit fine on here. I'm sure it will fit okay on the S21B as well, but yeah, you might get a bit of scratching of the anodization going on. In terms of overall construction, the S21B, in my opinion, looks a bit more refined. I like the color as well. It's kind of this silvery gray color. Yeah, it's got a bit more of a shine to it compared to the M21B. In terms of the overall design of the M21B, it's been around for quite a long time and tried and tested. It works, dissipates heat very nicely as well. It's going to dissipate heat much better than the S21B, considering how large the head is. Both these lights come with a variety of emitter options, but I've chosen the CULPM1 emitter just for maximum throw. Much deeper and wider reflector on the M21B compared to the S21B, as you can see. And yeah, and as a consequence, you're going to get significantly more throw with the M21B compared to the S21B. UI and modes. The UI and modes are very similar on both of these models. You've got this design here, the same sort of tail cap switch. That one's a bit bright, I'll just turn that down. But yeah, basically you can select from 12 different mode groupings. There's also a driver that just allows you to select 4 different options, so 4 different modes as well if you want a simple version. So I've got the driver version, both of these, the 12 mode driver version grouping, so that allows you to, yeah, I mean, for me, I've just put 5 different modes, so 0.1, 1%, 10%, 30%, and 100%. But for some people, you might want to have the light that just runs on moonlight mode all the time, or you might want it to just run on 100% all the time. So that's something that you can also switch around by selecting the mode that most suits you. Output, this is the 6 amp version, whereas I've got an 8 amp driver here in the M21B. This one does get pretty hot if you're not careful. You're running at 100% for too long. I'd suggest if you are looking for something for sort of long sustained lumens and just reduced heat, get the 6 amp version of the driver for the M21B, kind of like the one I got for the S21B. This gets pretty hot after a while as well. So yeah, just make sure that you ramp it down yourself. Sometimes it does take a while for it to ramp down on its own. Without further ado, let's skip straight to the beam shots. Alright, I'm going to be comparing the S21B, Convoy S21B to the Convoy M21B. S21B on the left. Okay. Impressive. Hitting those trees very easily in the back. Like the larger body as well, dissipates heat better. And here's the M21B, and I mean, look at that. It's just the M21B definitely throws a lot further. I mean, there's no surprises there. It's you know, considering that it's got a larger reflector, okay, but the hotspot is smaller. Okay, that's the S21B, M21B, okay, and as you can see, significant difference in the size of the hotspot. So if you don't need a light that throws really that far, you can get by with the S21B. Look at that. That's even back in the, right at the back there, I'd say that's almost 500 meters or so. There's trees right in the clearing. Okay, M21B reaches it, but the S21B maybe just tints it a little. Yeah, a little. Okay, you can definitely see it on the M21B. Okay, and comparing the heat coming off from both of them, the S21B is definitely getting hot. It's hotter than the M21B. Okay, and of course it is a smaller host. There's trees out the back. I like the fact that Convoy lights don't ramp down all so quickly, and you have that manual control as well. If it gets too hot, you can of course just change the mode to a lower mode, like 30% or so. Okay, now both these are on 100%. You know, look at those tree tops there. Yeah, just okay, here's the S21 by itself, so you can compare the spill as well. Similar sort of spill. I mean, in terms of light produced, yeah, pretty similar. Can't tell the difference between the amount of lumens produced, and side by side, very similar. But of course, a big difference in throw. The S21 is starting to ramp down a little bit.